stress about
You think you
worrying.
stress about your mom having it?
Well, I'm just saying
I
about
feel like
me
now
having
we've
it.
gone.
About
Do
me
you,
having it.
how often, do you really worry
No,
about
I
it?
think it's just it's an underlying thing of
How
like,
much? I guess I worry about other things over that.
yeah, I haven't much, but this could,
Yeah.
because it is when your parents diagnose, that's one of the first thing you think about, so really watching.
I don't want to put a problem out in the universe and then go
Exactly.
find it.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm
I
not
want to,
stressing about
yeah.
it daily, but there are times when I see my mom and I'm like, whoa, unqualified, unsolicited, and totally honest opinions on midlife. This is a topic that we're going to talk about today that both you and I've gone through, and I think a lot of people go through because so many of our aging parents are showing cognitive decline of either Alzheimer's or dementia. And the biggest thing is that's on all our minds is, will I get it? Will I also
Oh,
have it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
My grandmother for
Yeah.
sure. My dad for sure
What do you mean for sure?
has had it.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, it's in my fam. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. It's in my family. It's in my blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's super scary.
It
And I
is.
don't want to do, like, oh God. Yeah. 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 No, it's
Yeah. It's really
so,
it's
yeah.
super scary looking at what your possible future is. And my mom has Alzheimer's. She was diagnosed a little over 3 years ago. She lives with us. And so on a daily basis, I'm looking at like what could possibly be my future. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm sure our kids even.
Well, yeah, they got the double whammy. They got both sides having it come from.
Yeah, and they haven't seen your dad, but they see my mom on a daily basis, and I always kind of joke with them and be like, "Will you be as nice to me as I am to my mom? Like, see what I do?" But I'm like, and they're young. I mean, they're 12, 14, and almost 16, and but it's scary. And when my mom, I remember going in with my mom. We knew she was slipping. She was living in a retirement home at the time, and I knew she was sleeping more. She was like forgetting things. She was having a hard time managing her phone. So she wouldn't, and then she wasn't engaging as much with when like going down to meals, and she was just getting more depressed and repeating herself
She was
and
hiding out in her
very
room a lot more.
confused and couldn't find her room. So I was like, oh goodness. And I talked to the woman that was kind of one of the main people there. And she's like, oh, yes, we've noticed this. So then I took my mom into the appointment, and I just remember like it was yesterday, just like when he did that test. I
Yeah.
forget what it's called, but, and then he's like, and then they did a CT scan too. And he was like, yes, she has Alzheimer's. And I just remember going, like, feeling the weight of the world on me and like sitting beside my mom, who isn't even reacting like a normal person would react because she's not getting it.
Right.
And so I felt the weight and the heaviness and be like, okay, like this is, and I asked him, I said, now what? And his answer was horrible. It was like, well, I'm like, do we do therapy? Do we do this? And he's like, well, we can put her on this drug that, like a prescription that will slow things down. And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, we'll see if that works. Da, da, da. But he didn't really have many things for me. And it was really, I just felt so much heaviness. And I also was like, oh my God, is this hereditary? Like I really didn't look into it before. And I was like, is this going to happen to me? Is
Yeah,
this what
and I don't
yeah,
like it. It feels like to me, or my perception from what with your mom and my dad, that like the nature of the medical industry is like, well, yeah, you're old and that's what happens, and deal with it. See you
totally.
later. We're not
Yeah.
putting much effort into maybe solving it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there is some like the Alzheimer's Association, they're doing
Yeah.
a lot of research, but it's this like middle of what is covered by insurance, what's like astronomical, what they're figuring out. It's like we're in this wiggle
Yeah.
room, and
I
there's more awareness because unfortunately there's so many people diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's.
I mean,
It's
it's
like,
crazy. You just look at you and I. What are the odds that we each
yeah,
have a parent
yeah.
right now,
And
currently
then
in it?
now a lot of my friends' parents are, it's like I didn't look up the ratio, but it's high. It's really high for,
Yeah, whether we're
yeah.
doing something in the air or something in the food or whatever that's helping increase this, or we're
Yeah.
living longer that's helping increase this. I don't know the ins and outs of it all. I guess for me, I'm trying not to dwell on it, and I also want to think that by the time maybe I'm at my dad's age, that there's a cure, or that they got
Yes.
something that they're putting in our brain, or we're going
Right.
full robot. I don't know.
And
I
also like I feel lucky because your dad is latter 80s. And
Yeah.
my mom, when she was diagnosed, was 87. And, I mean, in on one hand, I was like devastated, but I was also like, okay, this explains what her, memory loss was. And with my dad, when he was 67, and we thought it was Alzheimer's then, and it was a brain tumor. So it was kind of like, well, at least she's still here. Like, we're going to make the best of it. And I just made a decision then, was like, I'm going to make it her life the best possible. And I'm going to learn what I can to deal with this in the best way. But also that underlying fear of like, yes, having a parent with Alzheimer's or having in your family can increase your risk, but it doesn't mean it's a guarantee. So we'll go over some of the things that people will be wondering about and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big topic because it is
I
becoming so
I do like,
prevalent.
like people will be like floss and that helps. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
floss every day. They're
Yeah.
like creatine,
There's
that
a
helps. I
lot
throw creatine in my
a
mouth
lot
every
of
day.
things. And
I'm
there's
like, whatever
yeah,
little subtle thing that
totally.
like witch's brew that they dream up and I hear, I'm like,
Yeah,
well, I'll give it a shot,
totally.
But I
Totally.
am also trying not to fixate on it. I don't want to put that out there so much in the world for me, but yeah, I guess I'd be lying if I said it wasn't in the back of my mind based upon my family history
Right.
and
Oh, totally.
but I also don't want it for our kids either. I don't want them to have to deal with us, and then what if it's there for them, or hopefully it's solved by
Yeah.
then. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can only control what you can control, and that is putting things in place and also being grateful and then like doing the preventative things that we know of right now. So, number one is like, I think when I was reading about it, and it's like, obviously when we talk about like what to look for in your parents. So, like the constant repeating or forgetting things that you once knew, and, just other signs where you can't pay bills and you can't manage things like your daily tasks that you
You'll
used to.
know.
It's not the forgetting your keys
Yeah,
or me losing my phone 10 times a day. Um,
you'll know.
but you still, it's like that the fear is planted, but this is what we can do about it.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking as I was reading this stuff is I was like, okay, so if this is an option, like a stronger option, because
If
I
what
do
is a
have
stronger
like
option?
of me possibly getting it. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did some other testing and I do have the gene. And but they said what I can do about it is different things. And so I'm like, okay. But there's you it's like choose your own adventure. So I believe that we can like there's one outcome, but we can also do things to get a different outcome, right?
Sure.
So, but one thing I was thinking about with all these warning signs of when to worry when it's just like your common forgetfulness versus like cognitive decline is if you have a really good friend or your spouse and be like, hey, I need you to be my like tell the truth, let me know when you're starting to see the signs. And like so it's not just yourself because you can't really trust yourself so much as you
Right.
can
Right.
your like a partner or your friend, like soul friend. So I thought that was really good because I feel like once I put something into place, it kind of gives me more ease because I'm like, it's not only on me,
Well,
someone
I
else is
got you,
watching out
and you're
that
doing
for that
great.
too. Yeah, I know. Yes, I'm doing good too. But I mean, like in 10 years, if you
I
start
know.
hearing,
Oh
but I
God, it
was
would be
at
heart
this.
wrenching.
Oh, it's so heart wrenching. And I was at this Alzheimer's dinner. Like, one of my friends is really involved with the research and donating and stuff, and she's fantastic. And I was very privileged to go to this small, intimate dinner with her. So they're sharing a lot of their, research and all this stuff. So hopefully, yes, we will be in better hands of prevention and also like slowing it down or getting rid of it, the plaque that's on the brain and creating all this
Whatever. Yeah.
is there was a woman there who was 63. And that's when I was like, whoa, my mom is really lucky because she was like, I have early onset. And I go, do you mind me asking how you found that out? And she was like, yeah, I was repeating myself so much that my son, my older son, came home. He was like, graduated college. He moved back home for a year and he was like, Dad, mom's repeating herself all the time. And then he was like, actually, she is. And there was a couple more things. So she went and got evaluated. And so I was like, wow, she's 63.
That's
And
so
my mom's
young.
80.
That is
It's so
so
young.
young.
So that made me feel very grateful. But anyway, and so she was like, there's so many things that our tests and stuff, but she's like, I'm 2 years away from Medicare, which will cover a lot of the stuff. And right now the cost is so crazy. And she's like, where am I going to be in 2 years? Like, hopefully,
Yeah,
you
my
know, and I
dad
was looking
went.
at her like,
Yeah,
yeah, and it goes
my
fast.
dad went exponentially fast in less than a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's from the time that he admitted to me that he felt something off. And then my mom knew more, and she kind of hit it, which I get it,
Yeah.
but she knew,
Yeah.
and she moved fast to sell their house, to get into a facility, and then
Right. Right.
holy cow,
So,
it's a whirlwind. And then he went pretty much nonverbal way faster than what
yeah.
anybody had
And that's
thought.
the thing is you don't know how it's going to hit you, all these things. So I'll cover a couple of things that will,
Yeah.
I think because it's so, the fear is like all encompassing. It's like will swallow you up, and that's not going to help you.
Yeah, no, you can't live your life worried about that, because you get struck by lightning tomorrow walking a
Right.
dog. So
Exactly.
like it's not healthy. I think
Yeah.
like all things, like there's cancers out there too that are just as,
Oh yeah.
dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, like, I'm not living in fear of it. I'm acknowledging its
Yeah.
existence, and
Yeah. Because I mean, I definitely, my mom is really like, our parents took two different paths and you don't know what you're going to get. Like
yeah,
my mom, I feel lucky because she lives with us and she's still happy. She'll forget things. She'll be like, I think I'm going to go home. And I'm like, you are home.
you're home.
Yeah. Or like my mom, a lot of times her parents come up. They've been dead since I was like 3 years old.
Oh, I remember one
Yeah.
time we were eating. It was like dinner, or we maybe it must have been breakfast. We were at the counter, and she was talking about her parents, and it's time to
Yeah.
go home and go see them. And I literally had to tell them in so many ways, no, your parents have passed long ago.
Yeah.
But it was like just slowly getting to it, and then it crushed her. I could tell. And then she
Yeah.
was like, I think I'm gonna go lay down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
And
because
so we
imagine
were
what
like,
she's thinking.
oh, yeah. And then so we don't do that anymore. We don't like, we're like, okay. And then
Yeah.
she'll forget,
Yeah.
But I wonder because a lot of people with cognitive decline will be angry. They won't be themselves. So that scares me looking at our kids going, oh my God, I don't want to be remembered like that. Like, I
Oh
want to
yeah.
be remembered
One of
like,
my best friends, Kevin, growing up, his grandfather lived with them, and we didn't know what was wrong
yeah,
with him. We just thought he was a cranky old man that
yeah,
forgot things and wandered around. And lo and behold, you
yeah,
look back on it now and you're like, oh, he had dementia or Alzheimer's.
yeah.
And
It
like,
wasn't him. Yeah,
no, he wasn't a cranky old
yeah,
man because he was mean. He was a cranky old man because he was probably really frustrated because he didn't know where he was.
yeah.
And it's so
So
sad. And,
it's
like,
so sad. And there's so much unknown. So we can't control the future. Absolutely, but we can control how we live today. So I want to focus, I want to call out the fear and the heaviness that there is, which we did, but also what we can do. So looking for those warning signs, having a like this sounds funny. It's like the first thing, not an accountability buddy, but like a check-in buddy, someone that will be brutally honest to you, whether it's your spouse and or someone else
kids.
as well, that you're like, hey, this makes me nervous. If you ever see these things and tell them what to look out for, please like let me know or let your dad know and we'll go, like I just want to be on it, right?
Yeah, I would think that you have friends or family in your life that
Yeah.
are honest for all facets of whatever pitfalls, you might be
Yeah.
fuddled
Yeah.
with,
Yes.
right? Could you be befuddled with or upon or whatever? But,
Yeah.
you kind of want that.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
and if it
'Cause it makes you
really
feel
does
better.
worry you, yeah, you can
Yeah.
just say.
Yeah.
But I think if you got a good buddy or a good friend, like,
Yeah.
and
They're gonna.
likewise be that for anybody else.
Exactly. Do you have aging parents and you're still raising your kids? Then welcome to the sandwich generation. It can be super overwhelming, but I've got you. I wrote an ebook that helps you save time, energy, and money. And you can get your copy on thesandwichgen.com/ebook, and it will help you with all the things you need. And then another thing is, can we lower our risk? And because even if you have a parent, where you have a more, your chances are higher.
Hereditary.
You can lower your risk. And it's all these things of aging well anyway. So it's, sleep is so important.
Yeah.
Eating right.
Yeah.
Doing things that challenge you, which you and I have talked
We've
about. Like,
spoken the virtues of hobbies
yes,
quite a bit. My
exactly.
dad and your mom both
Exactly.
did not
Yes.
and do not.
And, we've talked about racket sports. I'm so into pickleball and it's that, quick motion. And so if I ever slow in pickleball, like, what is happening? And then they say dancing. I mean, there's so much new research coming out, watching your blood pressure while watching your blood sugar. They've talked about how much diabetes and cognitive
Correlate.
decline is correlated. One thing they talk about, and I've tried to really shout from the rooftops and make people aware, especially for their aging parents right now, is hearing loss. This can like really add to cognitive decline really fast.
Why?
Because once you start
Oh,
hearing,
you
you don't
tune out.
engage, you're like totally disassociated. And so if your parent doesn't have hearing aids and you're realizing that they're kind of disconnected or hard of hearing, get them checked, get them hearing aids. And even if they have hearing aids, go get them. You like their hearing will change. It's kind of like eyesight. It will change. Go get them tested or, like serviced. My mom has, when she bought her hearing aids, they were like, you can always come in. Filters need to be changed. They've changed.
Yeah, you want
the
to check on it
setting.
because they're not
You
going
wanna
to
check
know
on
and
it.
they're not going to say. You have to just
Exactly.
regularly
That
do
was
it.
like, my mom was really
Yeah.
suffering and she has hearing aids. I'm like, what's going on? And so that really helped. So hearing loss is one that not a lot of people talk about, but it's huge.
That's smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And constantly
Well, I
shopping
think
for yourself,
COVID
being
accelerated
stimulated. Oh,
things
yeah.
for a lot of people,
Exactly.
which was such a bummer because they got isolated. Everything slowed
Yeah.
down. My dad had retired right around the same time, and
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
world shrunk.
Yeah.
You got to keep the brain firing.
And social connection is huge. You want to make sure they're social because if not, then more alone time can lead to cognitive decline. And then I already said blood pressure, but stress management. So, which is kind of funny because you're going to stress if your parent has it. And that's why I want to cover like how not to stress about or to lower our stress about
You think you
worrying.
stress about your mom having it?
Well, I'm just saying about
I feel like
me
now
having
we've
it,
gone.
about me having it.
How often? Do you really? Do you really worry
No,
about
I
it?
think it's just it's an underlying thing of
How
like,
much? I guess I worry about other things over that.
yeah, I haven't much, but this could
Yeah.
because it is when your parents diagnosed, that's one of the first things you think about, so
I don't want to
really
put I don't want to put a problem out in the universe and then go find it.
Exactly.
Like
I'm
I
not
want to.
stressing about
Yeah.
it daily, but there are times when I see my mom and I'm like, whoa, like this is hard. It's hard to, it's a caregiver. I'm her main caregiver.
Yes.
That's stressful. So I have to
Frustrating.
watch my stress management. And then also there are
Well,
times
it's just
where it
sad.
kind of comes
It's
in.
sad.
It's so
sad. I was saying to the kids the other day and I had a really vivid dream that I was talking with my dad again. And I can't remember what we were talking about, but it felt so good.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing about this one versus if he just passed away. Maybe I would start healing knowing it's not going to happen. Yeah. But here you're like, oh, maybe, oh, he's there. Yeah. But, or even like your mom, sometimes I'm just like, oh, maybe we can get a little bit past. How's it going? Oh, it's going.
Yeah.
Or,
But they still can tell energy and.
Yeah, I try to be good. And sometimes I just get sad sometimes.
More on is less about, because we have a great episode about grieving your parent whilst they are still here. Yeah. Because that is so true with cognitive decline or anything. Like if they, a lot of diseases that can take your parent out. And that one's really good. But it's so much stress. It's so heavy, but
we also
really watching that stress management if you can.
Well, even if you think about so my mom's dealing with my dad, and I think she's put herself in like a pseudo purgatory because she doesn't feel like she could go have fun or do anything.
Guilt. Yeah, especially with the partner,
which I can't even imagine. It'd be the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah,
it's
because your dad is in. Brian's dad is in memory care and the same retirement home that his mom is in independent. And so you can tell she's not diving in or allowing herself any joy or fun. She can't even see him. And she's like,
yeah, it's tough.
I don't even know if he knows she's important, but it's not like he knows she's his wife. And it's devastating. And she's grieving and she's feeling guilty, all the things. So I've really tried to be like, okay, got to get walking again. You got to do this.
Well, yeah. And I think the stress on that and just everything has put a toll on her. Yeah. And so she needs to get back to keeping herself going.
So if you're going through this or feeling guilty or the fear or the heaviness, just know to focus on aging well when you can and getting out there and walking, getting
exercise,
those
sleep,
exercise,
eating
well.
right.
Gut health is so important. They're showing and it makes sense, but they're showing the correlation between gut health and your brain. And so, yeah, I even did a test.
Gut health in your brain. Do you know more about that?
like how, because your whole bacteria in your stomach and stuff
Is
is
that
like
like
feeds your, like it's
weight?
kind of.
Weight? Like, is
Wait.
gut health also with like being a little overweight or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah,
Is
it's
that
all of it, and leads
yeah.
to like could lead to diabetes. Like all gut health is
Right.
kind of your second brain. They say is
Wow.
your gut health, and so if it's off or you're not, it's in charge of a lot of things. And feeling clear in your head, clear headed, not as like
Foggy brain.
foggy brained.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gut health is one. So that's why I'm eating sauerkraut every morning with
Boom.
breakfast. It's like a natural probiotic, and so I'm trying to do a lot of those things. Apple cider vinegar. I'm trying to avoid a lot of sugar, which is so hard because sugar is my
Well, yeah,
kryptonite.
it's
I
in a
love
lot of
it.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
in everything. So it's
I
just like
think everything in moderation.
exactly,
Like,
exactly.
just
'Cause-
know,
Yeah,
again, you could get struck by lightning. So don't
totally.
just put yourself into a jail cell to try and avoid one
Yeah,
thing and you're not
yeah,
happy.
exactly.
Just moderate everything. Be
Yeah,
aware. I wouldn't stress on the negative,
right.
find the positives, put the good energy out there. I think
Yeah,
that helps.
and
But damn, it's a sad one.
yeah, and watching your parent changes the way you age, and I think this is a gift that w- we might not be as aware of, but I've really been noticing a lot lately is I feel like I live more intentionally. I live more grateful when I see
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
and
Because we could be in a bubble and we could have
yeah,
your mom in a home and not have to really
not
deal
have
with
to
any of it
see
all
it.
day
So it
long.
makes me grateful for what I have. It makes me grateful that I have my brain and my memories and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so to live a life like that, and also with us thinking about our future and knowing how we would plan and getting legal documents in order and financial things just ahead of if there were to be any decline so our kids don't have to deal with that. And that's what I preach to a lot of people, like get ahead of it. And now since we're in this sandwich, I'm like, okay, when we're like in a couple years, we should probably get that in place and be like,
Yeah, for all things. I think just as you start to transition, and
yeah,
as you get older and then your kids get a little bit older and you
yeah.
slowly just that power of attorney, just you gotta have the conversation.
Yeah,
It's
and
life.
talking to
It's
our
gonna
kids
happen.
and normalizing it and being like, "Hey, this is what really helped with
Yeah.
Mimi, who's my mom. We call her Mimi. With me, and I want one of you to do this. It can change, but obviously our oldest will be 18 first, so probably make her that power of
Yeah.
attorney. Just be like, hey, this isn't a responsibility. It's just to make it easier on everybody else, and just having those conversations and being grateful for what you have because every day is a gift. It literally is. And so, not living in that fear,
Yeah,
trying not to.
I just don't think there's you can't.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
There's no
You can't.
it's mildly a lottery. I know there's
Yeah.
things you can do,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
do the good
Do
things
the
and
good
think
things.
positive
Yeah.
and then don't stress on it. Like you can't.
Yeah. Because stress
I
will
feel
not
like
be
now I'm
hard.
like, oh, should I be worried about this? Because you were worried about this. And then I'm like, and I'm going through all the things in my brain right
Um,
now. And I'm like, I just I don't have the bandwidth right now to go
Right,
there.
right. And not to worry about it, but
Yeah.
like just to do the preventative things that you can. And we eat pretty healthy and like
I
I love
try.
it. You're so good. I'll be like, oh, we're supposed to take this vitamin. And I did that. I did a test to see because you can get tested to see if you have the gene, but I didn't want to get tested to see if I had it and there was no like help for it. So I did it with a company that they're like, oh, we'll see your genetic and genomic, all your breakdown, and then we'll tell you how to prevent. Like we'll tell you how to help. And which was great. My friend and I did it together, and her mom had Alzheimer's. So we both have the gene, but they said they were like, for me, because we're all,
Yeah.
made different. For me, they're like, your two red flags are your gut health and your liver. Like
Uh,
detoxing. And so I was like, okay. And so I naturally have already been drinking less. And then with my gut health, they gave me some natural things. They're like, here, do the
sauerkraut.
sauerkraut and all these things and start just being more mindful of what will help your gut and what
I
will
mean, it's just like
serve it.
in general,
Yeah,
I go do
totally.
sports stuff
Yeah,
and I got to stretch,
exactly.
I
Exactly.
got to
It
go
makes
easy
sense.
into it.
It makes
Things
sense.
change. You got to
Yeah.
adapt, right?
Because there's some great things in this world for us, and there's some really not
Yeah.
great things. So we just have to balance out the not great things.
You know, I got to put sunscreen on my head because I don't have the hair to cover it anymore.
Yes.
You know, it's just
Yes.
the way it
And
is.
I've talked about this in past episodes too, is like thanking your past self or thinking of your future self and making your future self proud. So that's what's really helped me is every time I don't want to go, like if I'm like too busy, I'm like, no, I got to make time for the walk. I got to make time for the weights.
Sorry. I'm dying. Bringing out the Alzheimer's. Yeah, choking. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Back to
Okay.
you. Sorry. Go.
So making my future self proud and depositing in that aging well bank of every walk, every weight training session, all the things I'm doing to challenge myself, watching my blood pressure, watching my blood sugar, like making those good choices is making me feel better, making me feel less stressed, taking the
Yeah.
fear out of it, and like just really
Well,
focusing on that aging
the
well.
more you're like, good job, Barb, in a day, like, and you're putting it out there, that you're heading in the
Totally.
right direction. You're
Totally.
not, you're not down on yourself.
Being more grateful and just
Be
being,
awesome.
just in the moment here because the future will come like that. But I want to set myself up for the better future. So when
Look to the
10
future
years,
in a positive way
yes,
and work towards your future self in a positive
yeah,
way versus stressing that this could be around the corner for you.
yeah,
And then you're just kind of, you got a dark
yeah.
cloud over you.
And in
That's
10
not going to happen.
years, I'll look back at this Barb and be like, thank you.
Yeah.
Look at these. I'm strong. I am doing well. I feel healthy. I'm mobile. And so, online, there's a lot of things of prevention stuff. I think it's like a menu, like everything is. Pick from it what you like and serve and probably hit those buckets like physically, mentally, emotionally, and like health wise, like eating wise. Like pick from one of those, each of those buckets. And if sauerkraut's not your thing, find a different gut health thing.
Yeah.
Or, if you're like, don't love, I mean, weightlifting is pretty important, but do
Oh,
those things just for mobility and make sure.
hobbies. You can find a hobby. You
Yeah,
can find time
exactly.
for
But
hobbies.
this episode is just so important because I know firsthand from you and I living with anyone in your family with a cognitive decline like dementia or Alzheimer's, it is a huge fear for us of if it's going to happen to us. So
Yeah.
here's some things that will set us up for the best success we can and and take control of what we can, be grateful for everything we've got, and go from there.
Party on, Wayne.
Garth.
Garth, I don't know.
What's his name? Shit. If you loved hanging out with us, hit that follow button and share this episode with someone who could use a little midlife magic. Now go rock the rest of your day.